LNG, if you're just joining us this hour, we have several companies that would like to set up shop near the port of Brownsville, at Brownsville, and send to the world liquefied natural gas. Just ship it from here. It is a potential investment of billions of dollars for the Rio Grande Valley, and we're just getting started with the regulatory work that will be required before something like that sets up down here. Joining us on 710 KURV for an update, our mayor in Brownsville, Tony Martinez, and I'll sidebar and mention that I understand Mayor Tony did a lot of environmental law work for many years. Mayor, you're still practicing law, right, Mayor?
I'm trying.
Between this.
Time seems to elude me, but my shingle is still out there.
All right, and you were instrumental in bringing space exploration technologies and going through all the regulatory hurdles required for that. How confident are you that we can bring liquefied natural gas safely to the Rio Grande Valley and set them up here in South Texas and permanently transform this economy?
Well, from everything that I've seen from an environmental standpoint, they seem to be in good shape. I know that there's some adversity out there from aesthetics and wildlife and things of that nature, but I just haven't seen any expert reports out there that actually address that in a negative way. So I try to keep an open mind, hopefully, in looking at this. Of course, everybody can honestly say, from a economic standpoint, notice all the Chamber of Commerce and all the economic development folks find this as a very positive, movement. The environmentalists, the people that have posed some questions, again, look at it from a different point of view, but from an expert point of view, which is where we have to focus as officials. I haven't found any adversity or adverse comments with regard to the environment.
As folks at Innova LNG, Bill Harris said, this is not a refinery. It is simply a transport node to send it to the rest of the world, liquefy this natural gas and send it to a market that's waiting to sop up all this energy that's available in the U.S. These concerns that are being expressed right now, do they sound similar to concerns expressed by some in the community before SpaceX decided to set up shop here?
Well, this is just a little bit different. From an environmental standpoint, there was actually very little opposition. There was a few voices, and we heard them all. But if you go out to Cape Canaveral and Port Canaveral, which I had, I mean, the environmental aspect of it was just not at all affected. I mean, you got all the wildlife. It's a lot. I was out in Boca Chica recently, and it's the same. Not much is going to change, with the exception of when the launch takes place. There's more people obviously around, but the habitat and the wildlife and the serenity that surrounds all that doesn't. I haven't seen it again. I measured myself by all the reports and by actually looking out there at Florida, and they seem to be, just about the same as they always have been.
Back to liquefied natural gas again, Innova LNG, just one of several players that are prospecting us, Brownsville, to set up shop. Why Brownsville, Mayor? And if they don't set up shop here, where will they go and take their investment?
Well, Brownsville happens to be geographically really well situated, and we just haven't had a chance to, I think, explore it to the best of our ability for whatever reason. It just seems that the stars are aligned for the Brownsville area in the sense of SpaceX was geographically set up. Right now, we're right, as opposed to being at the end of the tip of the United States, we're actually the gateway to the Americas and to the world.
In space. Yeah. And Mars.
And Mars.
Yeah.
We're good up in the sky and down in the ocean. And right now we're having our fingers crossed that we will get approval for all the things that are required to deepen the port. So, a lot of times when you have, the sleeping giant, if you would, and you awaken. You know that you've got all the pieces of the puzzle ready to go, and thank God a whole lot of things haven't been, been either damaged or destroyed where you couldn't grow on that. So we're in a good place, I think.
Brownsville Mayor Tony Martinez joining us on 710 KURV. We're talking about the prospect of setting up liquefied natural gas exporting facilities at the Port of Brownsville.
Yeah, Mayor Tim Sullivan here. As we've mentioned, you're an environmental attorney, and back to the environmental aspect for a moment. The environmental groups who are protesting out there on the site of the proposed LNG plants, do they make some points? They're protesting for a reason, I assume.
Well, they are, and I'm sure. I'm not really quarreling with their point of view. As a public official, one should listen to everyone, but from you have a great balancing act, Dr. Seuss. As we go back through there, you have the benefit and the risk, and then you have to also take a look at I understand the point of view of saying, listen, we've got pristine land down here, and this is going to affect maybe the aesthetics. But I need to take a look at the first and foremost thing a mayor should do, and any public official, is safety. And then the second thing is, are you going to damage your environment in the long run? And those two aspects of it, I have not heard. Again, I'm willing to listen. I have not heard those things in a negative way at this particular point.
Okay, and at this particular point, what do you know about the environmental history of these types of plants? Are they compatible with the environment? Are they, like SpaceX is, are they agreeable to take and help fund any necessary mitigation measures that may be required?
I'm assuming that what they call the federal, energy regulations, the FERC process, really addresses all that much better than I do. Right now, the EPA, in all fairness to that agency, of course, has different administrations have different regulations and have different setups. But right now, the EPA looks to me, from my personal view, as a very good guardian of the environment. So let's see.
Except for maybe certain situations that pop up in the news every now and then. But under this administration, yes. Regulatory climate, yes. They definitely provide hurdles for you to jump through, and you better have all your T's crossed and I's dotted to make sure.
And they've been criticized, by the industries and the pipelines and all that sort of thing. And again, it sort of depends on your point of view as to how democracy works.
Well, Mayor, on the heavy manufacturing front, we're chomping at the bit, Mayor. Come on, you got to give us something.
Well, I truly anticipate this will be the month to give you something.
Okay, it's going to happen. In your opinion, it's going to happen. Yes.
I feel very comfortable in saying that we have really. I will give kudos to all these wonderful people in the economic development area and the public utility area and all the other people that have worked so hard to help Brownsville be the place to be.
All right, Mayor. Well, we look forward to that big headline. That's a separate headline, people. And just stay tuned for that one later on. Mayor, thank you much. That is Brownsville Mayor Tony Martinez on 710 KURV.